At the start of the movie, we see a scene where two brothers have created a school. On one side, good was taught, and on the other side, evil was taught. This means good magic was taught on one side and bad magic on the other. This school was called the School for Good and Evil. The two brothers who started the school were fighting each other using magic, but they were just practicing their magic at first. Later, it is shown that the evil brother, who had bad magic, actually hurts his good brother. He uses a kind of magic that should not be used. He had special blood magic, which he uses to hurt his brother badly. During this fight, the good brother throws the bad brother from a great height. After this, we are shown a time 2 years later, where a girl named Sophie lives with her father and stepmother in the human world. Sophie was very beautiful. She wished to go to the fairy world and become a princess. There was another girl who was Sophie's best friend, but she was not very pretty. Her hair looked like a witch's, so everyone in the town called her a witch. These two girls were very different, but still they were best friends. They went to school together, then to the bookshop. Sophie picked books about fairies and princesses. Her friend picked books about ghosts and witches. The shopkeeper gave her a magical book from the school. After seeing this, Sophie asked the shopkeeper where the school was. The shopkeeper said, "I don't know. Maybe no one knows where it is. It might be in this world or maybe somewhere else." He also said that all the stories we read in books start from this school, but Sophie's friend didn't believe it. The shopkeeper said that a few years ago, a girl from their village was also taken by the monsters of this school, and nothing was ever found about her. After hearing about the school, Sophie really wanted to go there. She wrote a letter and placed it on a tree. She also wrote her and her friends' names under the tree. Later, she told her friend about it, but her friend said no. She told Sophie, "What will you do by going there?" But Sophie had something mysterious in her mind. She still wanted to go. That night, Sophie went to the same place where she had placed the letter. Her friend followed her. But then, a very big monster came and took Sophie with him. Her friend was still following, but then a very big hawk came and took both of them. That beast took Sophie to the school of evil and left her friend at the school of goodness. Sophie told the wolf guard that she came there by mistake. She said, "I should have gone to the school of goodness. I'm so pretty." She went inside and told this to a lady who was the principal there. The lady said, "Our hawk never makes a mistake. He always drops people at their correct place." On the other side, Sophie's friend entered the school of goodness. Some girls there made fun of her, saying, "Your hair looks like a witch's, and look at your clothes. We think you came here by mistake." Then some fairies came and took Sophie's friend to the principal of the good school. Sophie's friend said she didn't want to come here. She said, "My friend wanted to come here." The principal said, "Our hawk never makes a mistake and never can't come here." Sophie's friend, whose name was Agatha, didn't understand what never meant. The principal explained, "Children who go to the school of evil are called never, because they never stay happy, and the children who want to go to the school of goodness are called ever, who are always happy." Now, all the children are gathered in a big hall. Agatha is wearing a very heavy dress, while Sophie is wearing a very simple black dress, even though their choices were very different. In this school, evil students wear simple clothes, and good students wear beautiful clothes. Now, the good students show their magic. At the same time, a prince arrives, but an evil student challenges him and defeats him. Then he looks at Sophie and Agatha, but he goes and sits next to another girl. Now, the school head arrives. He was the same person who had killed his evil brother, which we saw at the beginning of the story. This principal is also the son of those brothers. Now he says to all the students that everyone must study hard and get good marks. He also says that the story will be written in the honor of the good one and will be taken to the human world. But then Agatha and Sophie ask, what if someone has come to the wrong school by mistake? The head says, no, this can't happen. We don't make mistakes. Saying this, he leaves. That night, Agatha goes to the evil school to meet her friend Sophie. There, she hears both school principals talking. After they leave, the head of the school of evil appears. He says that Sophie is now his. He was the same person who created the school of evil, and he also had blood magic, which we saw at the start of the story. Now the question is, how is he alive? His brother had killed him. We will find this out later in the story. When Agatha reaches there, she sees that some girls are bullying Sophie and even trying to cut her hair. But now Sophie saves herself and treats that girl very badly in return. At the same time, Sophie sees her friend Agatha there. They both go together to the story-in room, but no one was there. Only a book and a magical pen were in that room. At that moment, the head of the goodness school enters. He says that no one has ever come here before like you two. You both are very special. Then he asks, why do you want to leave? But Sophie says, I don't want to go. She wants to go. I just came to the wrong school. I don't like my old life at all. Agatha wanted to take Sophie with her. She asked the head, are the stories of Cinderella and Snow White true? He says, yes, absolutely. All of them are true, and all those princesses studied here. Then he tells Sophie, if you really belong to the good school, our hawk would not have brought you to the evil school. Sophie says, I am good, I am sweet. I should be in the good school. Agatha, her friend, says, true love is needed for this. When you find true love, you will enter the good school. After all this, the head sends both girls back to their classes. Now, when Agatha is in her class, the girls tell her that if you fail 3 times in the test, you will be expelled from the school. Agatha is happy and says, really? They say that getting expelled means you'll become a monster. Then the teacher comes and takes her smile test. Agatha fails the test. On the other side, Sophie is giving her ugliness test, in which she also fails. Later, when the two meet in the hall, Agatha tells Sophie about the king. But Sophie's heart was on the prince here, who was the son of the school head. Sophie gives a letter to her friend and says, give this to the prince for me. When Agatha goes to the forest class, she gives the letter to the prince and leaves. Now in the forest class, their teacher shows them very beautiful flowers, which were actually very dangerous. He also shows a scarecrow that stands in the fields, made like a human statue. He says that it comes alive at night. Later, a flower bites a boy there, and he runs away scared. This boy had failed for the 3rd time. When Agatha follows him, she sees a storm around him, and then he disappears. Seeing this, Agatha becomes very scared. On the other side, a girl was troubling Sophie in class, and the teacher didn't stop her because it was the school of evil, and they were enjoying it. Then that girl takes out a small dragon from her tattoo, who attacks Sophie and tries to kill her. Sophie can't do anything. She just runs around to save her life. Then a lot of honeybees come, and they stick to the dragon. Because of that, the girl who sent the dragon can't breathe properly. Sophie refuses to accept the help of that girl now. These bees were no one else but the head of evil, who also had blood magic. Then the principal quickly takes Sophie away. She asks him, who was he? The principal tells her about the evil head and says, you are very powerful. But Sophie replies, I don't want to be powerful. I just want to go to the school of goodness. That's all I want. Meanwhile, the goodness school's principal tells all students that goodness always saves. Agatha then asks about the boy who had disappeared in the jungle. The principal says, "It's the rule of the school," and silences her. Now she tells the class that there is a fish in the river that can fulfill anyone's wishes. So everyone must tell their wishes to the fish. When it's Agatha's turn, she says that people who want to go home should be allowed to go easily. Suddenly, the fish turns into a girl. She says that no one ever asked for such a wish. "You asked for exactly what I wanted. That's why you freed me from the magic that was done on me when I failed the test." Then she disappears. Meanwhile, a hawk arrives, the same one that brought Agatha and Sophie here. As it comes near Agatha, she realizes it was the same boy who had disappeared in the jungle. Now, he had been turned into a hawk. Suddenly, the prince comes and kills the hawk with his sword, thinking maybe the hawk was going to attack Agatha. In anger, Agatha punches the prince in the face and asks, "Why did you kill the hawk?" She says to the principal, "You call this a good deed? This is not a good deed. This is even worse than evil." After this, she meets Sophie and says, "I have seen the head of evil." Agatha says, "Yes, I have also seen him." The prince hears all of this. Then Agatha leaves Sophie and walks away. The prince praises Sophie's letter. Then the wolf guard of evil comes and takes Sophie away. She is taken to the evil principal, who cuts her hair and locks her in a room. There, the evil head appears in the mirror. He tries to convince her by saying, "There's no one here except me, and you can trust me." After this, Sophie starts to believe him. Then, when magic was being given to students using a pin, Sophie comes there in style. She goes and takes the magic. Everyone watches her. Now, the same girls who used to trouble her had become her friends. Agatha tells her, "If you want to win the prince's heart, then beauty is not enough for him. I will follow all your instructions." Now, the next day, Sophie goes to the prince, who is practicing shooting arrows. The prince tells her that students from the school of evil can never hit the right target. But Sophie hits the target. The prince is very surprised to see this. Actually, the target was hit by Agatha's magic. Now, the prince chooses Sophie to be his queen. But no one likes this. Agatha says that true love never fades away. Now, a master says, "All right, we will find out the truth by separating them in the jungle. If they find each other, their love is true. We will never separate them again." Now, they are left in the jungle at night. But Sophie didn't know anything about the jungle. She goes near beautiful flowers, which start biting her. She runs to the scarecrow out of fear, the one that comes alive at night. She starts screaming out of fear. So Agatha comes to help her friend by turning into a pigeon using her magic. Meanwhile, they hear the prince's voice. Agatha hides herself and sends Sophie to him. The prince's magic sword falls because of the scarecrow. The scarecrow starts hitting him a lot. Agatha signals Sophie to pick up the sword and give it to the prince. But Sophie doesn't do anything because she is scared. When the prince is about to die, Agatha comes and gives him the sword. He then kills the scarecrow. The prince becomes very angry at Sophie because she didn't try to save his life. And Sophie becomes angry at Agatha. She leaves her too. When Sophie returns, Agatha's principal scolds her a lot. She asks, "Do you trust your friend?" She says, "No, but I believe all humans are bad." On the other side, Sophie is very angry. The head of evil shows her friend in the mirror. She sees that her friend was saying, "Sophie is bad," but he doesn't show the full truth. This makes Sophie very angry. Now she is under the control of the head of evil. He gives her the magic of blood, which is the most dangerous. When the principal comes to her, she also tells her. Here, we find out that the principal of the school of evil was the same girl who had disappeared 20 years ago from Sophie's city. At the School of Goodness, the prince now chooses Agatha to be his queen. Then Sophie comes. Now she had become a witch. Her face looked scary. It was all because of that blood magic. She says, "I will be your queen," and then leaves. Then they see Sophie, using her magic, has turned all the teachers and guards of the evil school into toys. Now the prince goes to attack the School of Evil, but Sophie stops his magic and attacks him back. Now the students of the School of Evil start turning beautiful, becoming like the students of the School of Goodness. Meanwhile, the good students start turning evil and becoming ugly. Now, a big fight begins between everyone. Agatha goes to Sophie and stops her. She says, "Please stop all this. Don't do this." Then Sophie goes into the room where the magical book and pen were kept. She had come to kill the head of the School of Goodness. But then she sees that the head of goodness turns into the head of evil, the one who gave her the blood magic. Now the evil head says, "I was alive from the beginning. When I fell from the height, I came back, killed my brother, and took his place." Just like we saw at the beginning of the story. Now, as soon as he controls Sophie, everything starts getting destroyed. Sophie says, "Stop it! I didn't want this. I didn't want to kill everyone." Meanwhile, Agatha arrives. The head of evil says, "She is mine now." "You can't take her." Agatha says, "You can't harm my friend while I'm here." Then the head of evil attacks her with a magical pen. But Sophie comes in front of her. The pen hits Sophie instead. Because Sophie and the head of evil had the same magic. When the pen hits Sophie, she gets injured and their magic becomes different. Now the prince also comes to help and starts fighting the evil head. But he attacks the prince back and he falls. Then Sophie uses her magic. Her sword turns toward him. Now, Agatha jumps and catches the sword and kills the head of evil. Now Sophie also dies. Agatha cries a lot seeing her. But when her tears fall on Sophie's wound, Sophie comes back to life. Agatha is very happy to see her alive. Now, both good and evil people join together. They all start living happily. Then a magical portal opens, the way to their home. Agatha tells Sophie, "You stay with the prince. I'm going home." But Sophie says no. We will both go together. Now both come back to their world and start living their life like before. But now they had magic. One day the prince's arrow hits a tree in the human world. It makes a sound, "Agatha, I need you." And with this, the movie ends. And so, in the end, good and evil stood side by side, not as enemies, but as a reminder that both exist in every human heart. Sophie and Agatha proved that true friendship has the power to break even the strongest dark magic. This story teaches us that being good isn't about how you look or where you belong. It's about the choices you make and the love you carry inside. Agatha's courage, Sophie's change of heart, and the bond they shared remind us that real strength comes from kindness, trust, and standing by the people who matter. Because in the school of life, there is no perfect hero or villain, only those who choose to fight for what is right. So, if you like this story, don't forget to like, share the video, and subscribe to our channel, The Last Chapter. See you in the next video with a new chapter.